Man, what is happening, my YouTube family? Of course, it is your boy B New. I'm coming at you on this Wednesday. Happy hump day to everybody. And first and foremost, as always, just want to send out positive vibrations and blessings to anybody who could be listening. Now, with all that being said, we all know that we have reached the Final Four of the NBA basketball tournament that we call the NBA playoffs. And we played the Eastern Conference Finals on yesterday. And I'm looking forward to the Western Conference Finals tonight, which I expect to be a very entertaining series. Now, just a little bit before we dive into the preview of tonight's game between the Dallas Mavericks and the Golden State Warriors, let's just talk about, just for a moment, the matchup between the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat, which occurred on yesterday. And of course, the game was very close in the early beginnings. Now, we do know that Boston was without the services of Al Horford, who played a very integral role in them beating Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks in the semis to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals. And not only were they out without Al Horford, more importantly, and maybe even more notably, they were also without Marcus Smart, who has won the Defensive Player of the Year this year. Now, without Marcus Smart, the Celtics did not fare too well on yesterday. They did, like I said, in the first half, look pretty good. Now, before we start making any excuses, because like I said, I have no dog in this race, but just merely to analyze the game, we must also note that Miami was out the services of a Kyle Lowry. So, you know, that kind of almost evens itself out. But at the same token, Kyle Lowry, if you haven't been paying attention, has not played his best basketball in the playoffs. Actually has not been playing very well at all, but it has not been to the dismay of the Miami Heat. They still have been able to overcome and advance this far. And, you know, before it all started, I was picking Boston after seeing what they were able to do with Kevin Durant, you know, and Kyrie Irving, and then what they were able to do to Giannis, even though they were without Middleton. But the Celtics do have a great defense. But one thing about Miami is they have a great defense as well. Now, I wouldn't say it's on the level of the Celtics, but they are very well coached. And one thing I do want to point out, and I do have this as a topic for later when we get more into our LeBron James videos, that Eric Spoelstra, to me, I think is a Hall of Fame coach. And he had the talent with Dwayne Wade and with LeBron James and company. But since then, look at his resume. He has consistently got to the playoffs, stayed competitive. He was even in the finals. And for everybody saying, oh, it's the bubble, let me bring that up real quick too. Oh, it's the bubble championship. All LeBron and them beat the Heat. Well, it looks like that Heat team is still pretty good, because bubble or not, that same core is still returning. Now, if they're still returning, I would think if the Lakers had the same core, then maybe they would have returned as well. But of course, they did some things and discombobulated the roster, to me, by getting rid of course, Danny Green and KCP and Caruso, who are all great 3-and-D guys. And we all know that's what LeBron needs in order to be successful throughout his career, just to be surrounded by shooters, because he's great at delivering the pass. And then he needs somebody who can go out there and help on the defensive end. But we won't talk about delivering the pass, because who does that no better now in today's league than Luka Doncic, which I won't transition into the preview of that series yet. Let's just continue to talk about Miami. Now, Miami, I was favoring Boston going in. I still think Boston can win this series, but with Al Horford being out the COVID protocol, I'm not sure when he come back. I think he plays a very integral role with the resurgence of his career, especially how he came up big against Giannis. I think he could do the same as far as his defense with Miami, as well as him getting hot in the fourth quarter a few games, to be able to hit threes and be able to score in the paint. So he's bringing you versatility. And without those two players, I think if the Celtics dig themselves too deep of a hole, that it might be too big for them to get out of. Now, we know Jason Tatum yesterday had 29, 8, and 6. Tatum Brown had 24, 10, and 3. But both of these was the most quiet numbers that you would ever hear in a game, and that was all because of none other than Jimmy Buckets, Jimmy Butler, or should I say Jamie Foxx? And I'm just playing, but I'm telling you, man, they got to be cousins. But anyway, Jimmy Butler played excellent on yesterday. I would say that Jimmy Butler might just be the best player left in the playoffs right now. I think he had, and if you remember, that in the bubble, him and LeBron James was going toe to toe. Like, he was giving it to him. And Jimmy Butler looked like he ran out of gas in that series, because we know in Game 6, man, I think he had the triple-dub, but LeBron gave 30-some points, if I'm not mistaken. But he just ran out of gas because he didn't have the physical fortitude that of LeBron James, who we know is conditioned better than anybody. And LeBron was still, a couple of years younger then, maybe 35, 36, not 37, he was maybe 35. But it was a hell of a series. And I would say to Jimmy Butler, as far as what he gives you on the defensive end, because he had some good blocks last night. I think Miami had like 11 or 12 blocks last night. Boston had 8 blocks. There was a whole block party going on last night. But, Bam, he played great. You had 5 Miami players that was in double figures. I mean, Bam was in double figures. Jimmy was in double figures. Strauss was in double figures. Tyler Hero was in double figures. And a lot of people might be upset that Duncan Robinson is riding the pine and not really getting minutes and they getting all that money. But that goes to show you that Spoelstra is a good coach, because if you just really stop to think about it, putting in Oladipo, who can play a little more of both ends of the floor, where I guess Duncan Robinson can, if he picks and chooses, play some defense. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to go against Coach Spo, because you see what he's able to do and the success that he's continued to have within this association. So, I know things will get different once they get back to Boston. Marcus Smart, I think he had a foot sprain, and the MRI has come back, and there appears to be no serious structural ligament damage, nor bone breaks or anything of that nature. So that is good news. But with the foot, you can make it worse at any time. So I wouldn't imagine them wanting to rush him back. But if you don't bring him back now, when you bring him back, you would hate for him to have a further injury that could potentially put him out for several months and not even be ready for the beginning of the next season. So you don't want to risk that. So I'm sure there's going to be some sort of drills and things that you have to do in order to pass this protocol to go out and be able to play and give it your all. So if Marcus Smart, if there's a way for him to be on the floor, I think he will find that way to be on the floor, because I think he just has that much of a sense of urgency to being able to want to play the game of basketball in which he loves. You understand what I'm saying? And that man ain't out here dyeing his hair green for nothing. He doing that because of the love he has for the team and the camaraderie he has with his brothers. I can tell that's the type dude he is. Sometimes you just get a sense of that from some people, man. And that's the thing about it. Like, all these players make millions of dollars. So it's good to see that they actually care, because the fans care. You understand what I'm saying? So if the fans care, think about it, the NBA wouldn't have money. So those who love the game of basketball, for the entertainment purposes of it, just to see mano a mano people who, it's just the will of men who is going to, and of course talent has a lot to do with it, of course, don't get it twisted, but a lot of times it's all about that heart too. You understand what I'm saying? So I think it's going to shape up to be a great ECF. We know this is a rematch from the bubble, speaking of which, and we all know Miami won that series as well, albeit this is a different coach Boston team, and I would say a different Boston team, but at the same token, people tried to say that that's the team that LeBron also beat in the Eastern Conference Finals when they had that same core. So we want to get too far, even though they are a different coach, even though their old coach Brad Stevens is still in the front office. So I'm pretty sure his philosophy still tends to trickle down onto the floor and into the locker room, because he has to have some sort of say. Not saying that he's telling him how to coach, but at the end of the day, I think it's going to shape up to be a good series. So tonight we do have the Western Conference Finals that I do want to talk about. And well, first, put in the comments below, who do you think is going to win the Eastern Conference Finals? Will it be Miami? Will it be Boston? Let me know what you think. Now, going back to the Western Conference Finals, of course, we do have no other than the Golden State Warriors going against the Dallas Mavericks, which to me, I'm not going to keep talking about Memphis, y'all. I'm not going to keep doing it. But damn it, man. Because, hey, Ja got hurt. But at this point, it is what it is. So, Golden State against Dallas. To be honest, if I had to pick a team to win, I would pick Golden State, and not because of just any other reason other than they're going to let the hell Golden State Warriors do what they want to do. Now, I'm just playing, y'all. But, laughing but very serious. But at the end of the day, the refs can only help you so much. So no, I'm not taking anything away from them. So to be honest, I would probably pick Golden State in this series just because of the talent they have. That's only if Clay is clicking on all cylinders, making a shot, and playing good defense. But I will be interested in seeing the philosophy that Steve Kerr is going to take tonight. Will Steve Kerr will he want to play small and have Draymond Green start at center, or will he more be looking to go big and put in a Looney, maybe even a Kuminga, see how they play that out? But at the end of the day, it's going to be all about Luka Doncic. How are they going to defend Luka Doncic? If you go back and look at some of the tape earlier in this year, you can see Luka Doncic having his way with the Golden State Warriors on a couple of occasions. He gets the defender on his hip. Luka Doncic is capable of scoring at all three levels. I mean, he can hit you from the three-point shot, catch and shoot. He can hit you off the dribble. He can play you down in the post. He's not the fastest, but he is very damn crafty, so he can get pretty crafty with it and get to the basket. And then if you decide to double or even triple team him, then you already know the scope. You know what's going to happen. And basically, he's going to find an open shooter. And of course, Dallas Mavericks do have people that are capable of hitting three-point shots. We know how Brunson has been able to play. And Brunson has been stepping up on the defensive end of the floor too. So that's going to be a very interesting matchup. I'm trying to think who they're going to get to guard Luka. They could come at him with Wiggins. It's just, he's going to get caught in the switch sometimes because, Golden State does like to switch off the pick and roll, and where he might get Steph on him, and then because that's going to be easy money for him. So, the play of Brunson is going to be crucial. Bullock's play is going to be crucial. But I think Brunson is going to have a great series in order for Dallas to be able to pull this off. I think they're totally capable of pulling it off because it's all about matchups. And the way, you would think that they wouldn't have beat, they weren't going to beat the Phoenix Suns, but of course they did. So now you have the same matchup coming back, damn near the same matchup when you talk about the Phoenix Suns and Golden State Warriors, except Golden State likes to spread the floor a little more than what Phoenix does. So with all that being said, I just feel like that the Golden State Warriors are a little bit more talented than Dallas. Now, as far as the coaching, Steve Kerr is a great coach, but I think Jason Kidd has proven what he can do. We all know he won a ring with the Los Angeles Lakers in that bubble, and I will give Jason Kidd a lot of that credit for winning that ring instead of Frank Vogel. I'm not saying that Frank didn't play a part in it, but I just feel like Frank was outcoached a lot of times throughout the course of the past 2 seasons. Without Jason Kidd being on the sidelines to help him out, especially this past season. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they're going to defend Luka. Will they go small? Will they go big? Just how this whole series is going to play out. Put down in the comments who you think will win this series. I'm looking forward to hearing from you all. And of course, as always, man, just want to say right on to the real, and much love to these haters. I'm out. Peace.